Why do we live in shame? Why do we live in shame? Does anyone want to share their stories? I love listening. I'm here if you want to talk. I don't have a lot of advice to give, but I'm here to talk. So I'm putting myself out there and using my throat chakra. Throat chakra blue. That's why I'm wearing the color blue. Danny, thank you so much for my earrings. I never really got to tell you that. Thank you so much. I love them. They're beautiful if you watch this. Stepping into my leadership role, I want to do my part for my kids and for myself too. And part of that preparation for me is holding myself accountable. And I've been living in fear of everyone socially, trying to please all of these people. And it has been the gifts of failure. The gifts of failure. The last couple of years, I've found so much of myself. I've been blessed with a love that is so strong that I'm not really sure it's going to go away. I think for the first time in my 32 years on this earth, I love myself and I forgive myself. I love myself. I'm silly. I am like a child sometimes, but I'm quiet and I'm calm and I'm reserved. And I know what I want in life, and I know what I want for my children, which is happiness and love and peace. That is what I want for them. So I forgive myself for all of this hate that I've been putting onto myself. And I don't know if you all do the same things, but those negative thoughts are the ruminatory thoughts. That's rumination is such a thing. And because of this, because of my childhood traumas, I've looked for experiences and interactions that can actually hurt myself, because I feel like this is what I deserve. So, do you feel that this is what you deserve, the situation that you're in, or are you living a life fully that you feel like you deserve, like you love yourself, right? You deserve that amount of love. I haven't been living a life like that for myself. I haven't really known how to do that, unfortunately. I was given so many opportunities to grow in this, and I avoided for a really long time because I was afraid. So does this sound like anybody else? It is tied to our childhood traumas. I mean, I'm going to be really honest. It sucks. It sucks to work through it. And the bummer is that when we have social media, sometimes we can look crazy to others. And then they begin to hold judgments and tell stories in their head, just like you're telling stories in your head. It's funny. So our childhood traumas, it sucks to work through them, which is why most of us don't, which is why most of us avoid them for our entire lives. I do not want to be one of those people, and I am here not only for myself, but to give inspiration to others, and for those who are starting these journeys and seeing these patterns and not able to manage healthy relationships. We can work through that. We can work through that. Mark Groves is an amazing influencer podcast, health, relationship. I mean, he's pretty much awesome. I enjoy listening to his podcast very much. You can find him on Spotify, on YouTube. You can find him on a lot of different platforms. And also Brene Brown. I've been reading a couple of her books. And for those of you that don't know Brene Brown, she's a pretty inspirational woman, and listening to her speak and the wisdom that she has, I really hope to overcome so many of my social and emotional fears. I guess that's the best way to put it. So, for me, when I was a child and I had my big family traumatic event where my mom died, and I couldn't make my own family, happy after that, I began avoiding them because I didn't see the reason I couldn't make them happy. So for my, 14-year-old, 15-year-old brain, I began looking for other people to please. And in high school, I was rejected by most people because I'm weird, and I understand that, and I come off really cold sometimes, and I come off really bubbly sometimes. Sometimes you never know really what you're gonna get with me. But that's not really true. I would say now I'm a very happy person for the most part. While I can get into really negative spaces, I want so much to please others. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but I already said it. Childhood traumas. So, when I was rejected in high school, I became a loner. So then when I couldn't please the people that I wanted to, all these close girls that you're trying to connect with in high school. High school sucks, by the way. It is like a dog-eat-dog world, and I am very thankful that I made it through. No, I'm just kidding. I live in a small town, so I went to a very small high school, but sometimes that's worse. And there were some not nice people, and those people definitely know who they are. And I was not nice because hurt people hurt people. So I began drinking really heavily on the weekends, and I smoked a lot of weed. And I think for children and high schoolers and kids these days, it's legal in so many states, but not for kids, and there's a reason for that. My prefrontal cortex was stunted by the amount of marijuana that I was smoking in high school. And so my recommendation to kids is just wait. Just wait. Okay? There is a bigger world out there. Really, just wait. Let your brain grow. We're finding out now that the brain isn't fully developed until 25, 26. I mean, that was only 5 years ago for me. And just have patience. Let your brain grow. Let yourself become one with yourself. Then experiment. Find yourself. Go out into nature and spend time by yourself. Go do a solo. If you live in the city, go to the plains and pack a bag, and I don't know, I'm just really thinking out there. Spend time in nature by yourself. Learn who you are. Find your true hobbies. Marijuana is a coping mechanism. Alcohol is a coping mechanism. And while, yes, when you're an adult, everything is okay in moderation. But not everything. Don't do heroin. Don't do cocaine. Don't do methamphetamines. Don't do a lot of those things, because look at fentanyl. Look at all of the people dying. Seriously, drugs are bad. Mr. Mackey said it right. Drugs are bad. Okay. So much has changed since 2008 when I graduated high school. And after I graduated high school, I fell in love, and I had a baby when I was 20 years old, my son JJ. And I am ashamed and I am humbled to say that I have been living a life feeling ashamed of being a young mom, because our society says that that's not what you should do. So I've been living this shameful life, and probably overcompensating on trying to be the best mom ever, because I didn't have that, and also because I've been living in shame, because I chose to have a child when I was 20 years old. That was my decision at 20 years old. And I've been living in that nastiness of myself. It has nothing to do with anybody else. And then after, about 5 years ago, I got divorced, and I've been living in the shame of trying to overcome being divorced. I didn't think about our relationship that was very unhealthy for a really long time. I did not cry for years. Couldn't cry. Empathy fatigue. That's another word. My want for freedom. Our actions have consequences, and those consequences are what we have to live with. And the truth is, and this is something that someone has told me so many times, and I didn't listen, but we create most of our own pain. We really do. While my relationship was really unhealthy with the father of my children, really unhealthy, we didn't know how to be in a relationship. We didn't know how to be in a healthy relationship. And I've had to find a lot of forgiveness for a lot of the actions that I victimized myself in. So I say that I feel I have been living this life of shame because I'm sure that so many young mothers and people around the world feel the same. This does not mean that I do not love my children or that I regret them. I do not. They literally have saved me. They were my saviors. They are my greatest teachers. I recently was in a relationship with a pretty amazing person. And I pushed that person away because I was living ashamed, because I had chosen this person. What ended up happening is I had chose this person over a very, 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 very close, almost my best friend. I didn't want that. I thought that we could continue our relationship and all be friends, but that is not what, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So I zoned out in my relationship, and I was able to finally focus on all of these traumatic experiences in my relationship with my kid's dad, But those were all my triggers and traumas, and I put those out there. So, shame. I felt ashamed that I never introduced this person to the father of my children and his family, because his family was my family for almost a decade. I spent more time with his family than I did with my own family. And I never introduced them because I was afraid. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the mind killer. So the last several years have given me time to heal wounds that needed healing, hashing dark stemmed roots to the barriers of my heart, and I feel enlightened that I have been able to come out stronger. Still healing, still processing. It takes time. Grief is a cycle. Trauma is a cycle. Unfortunately, it's not going to go away. It'll come back. And I have to work through it with healthy ways. Mental health is so important. So finding hobbies aside from Netflix, routines, establishing connections with myself, with yourselves, establishing like a true connection, soloing in the woods. This is my next journey. I am gonna solo in the woods by myself. Terrified with bear spray and a gun. I don't like guns very much, but I'm gonna use it if I need to. We're social creatures. We want connection. Whether or not it's in a larger crowd or in a smaller crowd, we want connection. And the truth is, and this is no secret, that I really did keep an unhealthy relationship together for my children only for 9 years. I did this, and I thought it was probably the most selfless thing that I ever did, and leaving was probably one of the most selfish things. But, that's another form of shame that I've had to rewire in my brain. It was not selfish to leave. It was selfless to leave because I gave my children the opportunity at peace, happiness, and to have the opportunity of learning what it is to have a healthy relationship. I'm holding myself accountable by doing this, and coming forth on top is essential for me. And because mental illness, shame cycles, and fear don't just hurt me, they hurt others. I have hurt others. And if I have hurt you by avoiding you, I am sorry. It has nothing to do with you. Please know that. And hurt people hurt people. It's fucked up. Excuse my language. So this is a Mental Mojo episode that is truly, truly humbling, because it's relinquishing all of the fear and the shame that I have been living in. And for me, that is essential. I hope this brings healing to others who are beginning their own journeys, seeing their own patterns, negative or positive. Happy Saturday. Live a life that allows us to follow and push past our fears, find ourselves, and become the best for those around us, near and far. Have a great day.